Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, December 6, 2018. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll see here we have gotten a major turnaround away from the 2800s in the ES. We talked about this on December 3rd, Monday, which was our monthly market outlook, and I mentioned that if price could not hold above this low here, we could turn down all the way back again, back toward lows. But I also mentioned that if price came back to the pivot range and saw some buying, that could present a higher low opportunity. Clearly, on this day here, we closed below the midpoint of the month. It became resistance on the next day, and then here we've dropped in after hours trading again and pre-market trading ahead of a likely test back toward recent lows. Now, we never took out this low here. Instead, we turned higher off that level. That made me a little curious because usually you want to take out a low before you can confidently push higher. And so maybe we take out 2-month lows now. We have 2625 basically is the previous month's low. 2-month lows takes you into about 2600. We may need to take both of those out before we see a near-term bounce. You can also see very clear LVN here. That's a near-term, short-term zone though that could offer another bounce back up. However, the bigger level remains the lows of the year. Can we hit the 2500s? Can we get a little lower into 2400s? Because that's where the more significant LVN is in the chart. That would be a phenomenal buying opportunity for a longer term push higher, either back toward 27, 28, or perhaps even higher down the road. So we still have more downside likely ahead, obviously, after this recent rejection. But do we see a near-term bounce off 2600? Or do we continue hunting lower into 25 or perhaps 2400 before we see a turnaround? So this right now in the near term can suggest more weakness ahead, and we got to continue to be vigilant about minding our risk and looking for opportunities on those major decline types of days. So down here at this LVN would be the best opportunity for a longer term bounce. Down here into 2600 would be a short term bounce opportunity. We'll see which one comes into play. All right, taking a look now at, let's take a look at the NQ here. The NQ looks very similar to the ES. Obviously, in this one, we had lower highs. We talked about the lower highs that were coming into play here. Again, another failure to hold these lows. We talked about that potential on Monday, December 3rd in the monthly market outlook. That led to another big drop here. And again, are we going to take out recent lows? We have lower highs here. We've had lower lows here. Again, we likely see a drop that could take us somewhere into about 6,300 to 6,360. That could be another near-term buying opportunity back towards 6,900. So again, we are on the downswing right now, but we could be looking at a bounce opportunity soon. Very similar to the ES, we have a significant LVN down here below 6,200. That would also match the lows of the year. And if we were to take that out, and then show major signs of rejection there, that could be a big time buying opportunity back towards 7K. So are we going to go out and finally take out those lows of the year? Perhaps at some point, but maybe in the near term we may not. We may just come down a little bit and bounce and then try it again. But somewhere between 6K and 6,200 could be a fantastic rejection zone to watch, and that could provide a longer term buy. At the moment, we are seeing nothing but signs of weakness. We are seeing lower highs. We're seeing a failure to hold these highs here. And again, it's putting pressure on the market, so continue to mind your risk. Here's a look at crude oil. Again, crude oil here has been very bearish overall. We talked about the potential for another drop once price popped into the PIMA trigger zone. I mentioned that right now, not really expecting much bounce out of this one overall. But I did mention above 52.5 could get us as high as 55s, and it got very close to 55s, getting into the 54.50s, I believe. And then we saw back-to-back rejection days, and now a stop run day through 52s has led to much more weakness. So again, after this major selling pressure, what we talked about on Monday, December 3rd in the monthly market outlook was that the next move is likely down, perhaps to take out a low and hit the 49.17 CVPOC. And then from there, we may bounce right back up and trade in a range here to finish out the year, as this pivot range for the month is rather wide, and we've seen incredible selling pressure over the last couple of months. So we may see some digestive type of behavior out of crude oil. But overall, this was a selling opportunity. We've seen a continuation. Do we finally get 49.17? I believe we do. We don't get this close after dropping from 77s and not test it. So my feeling this entire time has been that if we bounce into the trigger zone, it provides another selling opportunity in the near term, and then perhaps we could see a stall and digestion at best for crude oil as this thing continues to remain quite bearish. If we take a look at gold futures, we've been talking about this one being a potential rally candidate down the way. It's had major rounded characteristics. Ever since this day, we finally hit a low, and we've never come back to it. 1185 has been a very great area of support. Then support has gotten higher. 1245 to 1250 has been major resistance. We haven't really been able to find acceptance beyond 1240s, but the day could be coming here. It's getting closer. The market's showing more and more weakness. This is accumulation. This is a rounded bottom that could lead to a bounce right back toward 1360 to 1370 down the road. It would be a similar move to what we saw here on the way down. Accumulation, rounded bottom, above 1250 opens up a move to 1360. That could be a huge move down the way. Again, we got to be patient about watching for signs of a breakout. Any rejection or failed new low type of opportunity could suggest that a breakout is likely coming. So continue to watch 1250 in gold. Taking a look at the RTY right now, you'll see RTY has taken out recent lows. The ES and Q have not yet done so, but RTY has. So this is the previous month's low. This is the October low. It took both out. And typically speaking, if we take out those lows, especially coming into an LVN like we're starting to do here, you can see the LVN here, that could provide a buying opportunity. So I would keep an eye on the Russell. If the Russell drops a little lower and starts to find some strength off the 1420 zone, that could be a fantastic buy opportunity back toward value at 1550. So that would be a short-term buying opportunity. 1420 to 1550 could be a great near-term buy. But until price can reestablish back above 1600 and 1620, that LVN, this is still a sideways to down type of market. So again, we have some areas to watch for a bounce coming up. This one here has had major lows here, and you can see the LVN come into play below it. Do we take out those lows? If so, it could provide a great buying opportunity back toward 1550 on a short-term basis, and that could even lead to longer-term strength if price can get above and back above that 1620 zone. So a lot more perhaps downside ahead, but some big key levels coming up down below to watch. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room.